So Ron DeSantis and the election industrial complex. Yeah, that's what we've got here in this country, the election industrial complex. It is, it's big business, folks. Big business, folks. And make no bones about it. You know, you think about the amount of money that is pumped into the economy of Iowa and New Hampshire for these it's extraordinary if you actually think about it. But wasn't that long ago, you had Ron DeSantis, it was early December, was talking about we're going to win Iowa. We're going to go into Iowa. We're going to win Iowa. And it was funny reading a column. The head of their super PAC there in Iowa, this guy named is Scott Wagner. He had people working at the super PAC that were actually on the ground doing things, basically complaining that Scott Wagner was spending a significant portion of his time working on a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle of some landscape at their offices. Staffers are putting their dedication and devotion to electing Governor DeSantis, and they come in, and the CEO, the chairman of the organization, is sitting there working on a puzzle for hours. This is that never back down organization that was there. Let's take a couple steps back here. Let's put this into perspective. Think about how dumb and how ridiculous our process is. And quite frankly, I mean, if we're actually serious about this and not making it an industrial complex, why Iowa? Why Iowa first? Why you got New Hampshire second? Why not do them on the same day? Why not do 5 or 6 on the same day? It's a racket. It is a massive racket, and quite frankly, it's a waste of money. It's a waste of money. How much did this $35 million Ron DeSantis spent in Iowa to get 23,000 votes, which is $1,500 per voter? $1,500 per voter. That's what they spent. And I knocked on $3 million doors. Yeah, biggest grassroots campaign. Why? I again, this is part of the wizards are smart in the election industrial complex that come up with these clever ideas. You got to win Iowa. Oh, we're going to want to. You could come out and say, you know what? I'm going to go on Iowa media. I'm going to, maybe hold an event here and there, but I'm gonna spend money. 1,500 precinct captains knocking on 3 million doors. You got farmers out there doing what they're doing. You're going to get them off the tractor. You're going to start speaking to them. Stupid. So honestly, you could punt the first 2. I don't even understand the focus for crying out loud. I say, no. We're gonna go right to South Carolina. Sorry, Iowa. Sorry, New Hampshire. But it's a freaking racket, and it's a racket. And again, you look at the stupidity in this campaign. The dozens and dozens of staffers that they hired off the bat, basically trying to put together an operation for the general election rather than the primary. Within the first 2 months, they fired 40% of their initial hires. They had to do that to conserve resources. Again, a lot of the donors went away because I saw the writing on the wall. His launch of his campaign, remember this back was on Twitter, and it didn't work. It didn't work. It went on, Elon Musk went on X. It was one of their new things there, and it didn't work, and it was only audio, and most of the people tuned out. Now they spun it as, we broke the internet. No. Listen, again, this is part of the election industrial complex. You get these consultants out there that don't know their butt from a hole in the ground. He could have launched his campaign from Dunedin, Florida, on a Little League field. His Little League team went to I think they won the Little League World Series, something like that, way back in the day. He was a hell of a good baseball player. He went to played Division I baseball at Yale. Well, why not go there? Go to that little league field in your town and kind of show people what you're all about and your story. No. And they blew that. And again, you never get a chance, second chance at making a first impression. And that wasn't a good one. Not to mention the fact is, again, and I like Ron DeSantis. I know what he did in the state of Florida, but my offices are located in Florida. Our corporate from Markowski, we're located in Florida. I've lived in Florida. I'm moving back to Florida. I know what's going on in Florida. Read the Florida papers every single day. I know Ron DeSantis. I know what he was capable of. Even though I disagreed with a lot of his culture war stuff, it kind of rubbing me the wrong way, quite frankly. I think it's a waste of time. But anyway, neither here nor there. I know what he's done, know what he was capable of doing, know what happened down there during COVID. And, you need to get that out. They never really had a message. And another thing, too, is that if you're going to take on in essence, an incumbent, can we remember the last time there was like a true challenge to an incumbent president? Now, Donald Trump is not in the presidency now, but he was president. Very unique situation we've got going on right now. But essentially, he's got a record as the president. Very different. The last time was Jimmy Carter, right? Ted Kennedy. And Ted Kennedy got a lot of votes. It went down, if I'm not mistaken, that went down to the Democratic convention. And he won a bunch of states, and that one still ended up losing. And that was with Jimmy Carter with a 30% approval rating at the time, if I'm not mistaken. I was reading this, talking about yesterday. Put that into perspective, people. Again, you're running against Donald Trump. He doesn't have a super high approval rating either, but he's got a record very different. And if you're going to go after and you're going to try to beat him, you better differentiate yourself from him, and not end up running kind of as a MAGA light candidate, which Ron DeSantis did. He was afraid to take on his issues and his, the way that he handled himself, punted on that, kind of spoke out of both sides of his mouth rather than going after Trump. The only one that did that was Christie, but I don't think Christie had a shot in hell in winning anyways. But he didn't do that. He held off. Just one misstep after another, bad advice after another. Again, hiring, it's from Florida. And let me tell you something, it's a good old boy network when it comes to Republican Party in the state of Florida. Make no bones about it. Been there, done that. I remember when Marco Rubio, upstart, trying to take on Charlie Crist. I don't know. Charlie Crist was first a Republican, then an independent, then a Democrat. I don't know if he's a member of the Communist Party now. He's going to go whoever pays him. Okay, he's a political hack. And, Marco Rubio up and coming. And, Republican Party tried to squash him because they got a pecking order there. They got a way they do it. It's a good old boy network down there in the state of Florida. Make no bones about it. That's how it works. Republican Party's a joke. They got to bring all the buddies in from Tallahassee and have them run the campaign. Again, you're not running in the state of Florida. You were running in Iowa. You were running in New Hampshire. You were running elsewhere. Again, this is the great line by one of DeSantis's former advisors. It was a total failure to launch. This thing blew up on the launch pad. They had 6 months to get ready for very serious strategic questions, the most important of which was how to deal with Donald Trump. They had no answers. Again, this was obviously prior to him pulling out. We're 9 months in, and they still have not figured it out. And he's gone. And I think that it's got a foregone conclusion now when it comes to Nikki Haley. I don't see her being around. Trump's way up in her home state of South Carolina. I know she's trying to hold on to win New Hampshire, maybe get a bump into South Carolina. I don't know. Who knows? Again, I mentioned here, she scares the bejesus out of me. She does. She's like, reminds me of that Police song, Bombs Away. Again, I don't need another, individual looks to me like they're ready to start a war, or afraid of every boogeyman that's out there at this point in time. So again, I don't think that she's going to hold on, which again lends us to what's next. What's next? People have already voted, even in Iowa. People who voted for Trump in the caucus said that a lot of them said if he gets indicted of any felony, they're not going to vote for him. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know. And most certainly, I think they're going to have the third party candidate. I think Robert Kennedy Jr. is going to be instrumental in this as well. Well, may you live in interesting times. Didn't Confucius say that? WatchDog on WallStreet.com. But hey, don't forget, people listening to the podcast, make sure you subscribe. Give us a ratings up there. Love all that stuff. Algorithms love it. That's my battle. My battle, get the word out, as I'm battling the algorithms all the time, and you can help. WatchDog on WallStreet.com. We'll see you.